Hi, it's John, and this video in my series covers days 12 to 14 of my walk from Paris to Bordeaux. I left the great castle at Châteaudun, and over the next 2.5 days walked 50 kilometers to the pretty town of Vendome. Here's the pilgrims trail that I followed. And here's the 50 kilometers from Châteaudun to Vendome. It was a beautiful walk through rural France, and by this time I had relaxed into the rhythm of the trail. My gear was holding up, my French was coming back, and my sense of time had slowed right down. My first destination was Montigny-le-Ganelon. On the way, I met a local man exactly my age who was training for his own Camino and recognized me for a pilgrim. We walked together for several kilometers. The next morning, I had an early start from my guest house, and my first stop was right around the corner. This chateau was owned by the family of Bishop Laval, who was a great name in 17th century Canadian history. And perhaps he remembered this part from Quebec City, where he worked so hard to found the religious institutions of Quebec. You couldn't visit the chateau, so I moved on, and the other side of it looked completely different. There was a lot of waterfowl on the way to the second spot I want to highlight. This is a very old chapel near Cloy, and you could blink and miss it, but it has a terrible story.
Hi, it's John. I'm in the Loire Valley. I'm in a small place called La Chapelle-d'Iron, which is very near a small town called Cloy. And the place is significant because almost exactly 800 years ago, a local shepherd named Estienne de Cloy, who had a gift for preaching, launched the Children's Crusade. In 1212, he started a movement that led to 20,000 children from all over Europe attempting to walk to Jerusalem. And of course, it didn't turn out very well. It was one of the most tragic incidents of the Middle Ages, and all the children were lost.
Here's the chapel where Estienne, the local shepherd, found his calling. I stayed in a farmhouse that night, and I remember the sense of freedom I had heading out across the fields the next morning, with just 12 kilos on my back and the open road before me. And here's another church with a pilgrim's shell on the door that was locked. I was in L'Isle, very close to Vendome, and there were signposts for my pilgrimage walk right beside it. I continued on, and unknown to me, I passed the house of the guardians who had noticed my interest. They invited me in for a chat and then opened the church to show me inside. It was a lovely little pilgrimage church with archaic sculpture. One of their grandfathers had gone to Vancouver before the First World War and joined up with the Canadian Army to fight. I made another friend on the last little bit of the walk into Vendome. Just beyond this rustic bridge, the president of the local Pilgrim Society was waiting in his car to welcome me and make sure it was all right. He had heard about the Canadian pilgrim from my friend in Lise. Finally, I got to Vendome, and here I decided to splurge on a nice hotel. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Up next, I'll be visiting this beautiful gem of a small French town.